I'm Luke Beard.
I'm Chris Green.
I'm Riley Gunter.
And I'm Nash Rainey.
And we are
The
Backups. All right, we had a little break, but now we have to talk Clemson football per usual. Another loss for Clemson, the third of the season, all being ACC losses, pretty much destroying their hopes for the ACC championship. Double overtime to Miami with the backup quarterback for the Hurricanes. What do y'all think about it?
I'm at a loss for words, man. That's for both of my football teams. This year, I'm just at a loss for words. And, all I will say, though, just to hype us up, some words of affirmation, as spoken by the great Deion Sanders, get us while we down right now. Because when we come up, we coming.
It's disappointing, of course, going to second overtime and we fail. Kay decides to make an audible on his own. I just personally feel there has to be some repercussion. It's like, he is our best quarterback on our team, so of course we can't bench him, but I feel like there's got to be something to give him a change.
It's a tough loss. That's all I can really say about it. It's a tough loss. You hate to see this kind of loss, and we kept making mistakes, and it's always tough when you have a team that can get to the 1 yard line and you cannot trust that they can punch it in or even kick a field goal. We are the number one team in country for fumbles. We were tied with Troy, and then we decided let's one more and took the lead.
Number one.
So this is just demoralizing.
Go Tigers.
That's all I can say.
And it's just, you have one of your players, the great Nate No-Fly Zone Wiggins, punch the ball out in the end zone, and then your defender doesn't go after the ball. Of course, that's hard. But
good hustle by Miami there, though. I mean, the player who picked it up was right behind the play the whole time. It's hard to get the ball.
Yeah.
I thought some of the Clemson players veered off during the play and didn't, follow through with it like Wiggins did. But, it happens. You don't think you can make a play on it. You should always try to make the play on it, but some people aren't going to go for the play. It happens.
Yeah.
The guy had him beat by 10 yards, and Wiggins just came flying through. So I can see how you don't think you can make that play, though.
Yeah.
Ohio State beats Penn State 20-12. Yet again, Penn State loses to Ohio State. James Franklin just can't seem to beat this team. It's a rough look for Penn State because I see people all over just social media talking about how, they'll start 6-0, start whatever 0. They'll be undefeated, get to Ohio State, lose that, finish with 2 losses. And it feels like that's consistently the story of this team. And I hope for their sake it's not, because I really do like this Penn State team. I think they're really well built, well-rounded. But you have to put more of a fight up, because it was really 20-6 with a garbage time touchdown.
Yeah.
So it's Big Ten football where you're not scoring many points. It's not super exciting, but I was really hoping Penn State would break that mold and kind of prove that they're the team in the Big Ten, at least for this season.
Yeah, like you were saying, it do seem like it's like the same cycle with them every year. They'll start off really good, then they go against Ohio or Michigan, lose to them, playing a bowl game, win a bowl game, and then the fans are hype them up and look out for them next year. It's a team that's coming up, and then they do the same thing.
Yep, pretty much.
Really, it's a tough thing it feels like this Penn State is always at their ceiling third best in the Big Ten. They're never really breaking into that top step. They're never giving these teams the kind of games you would hope they get, and they constantly just come up short. So it's really just more of the same, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just haven't been the same since the greatest college quarterback in history went there, Trace McSorley.
Oklahoma gets a good win against UCF. Rough game for them. They, 31 points. It's hard to talk bad about that. Dylan Gabriel looked great. He beats his old team, and that's a big win for him. But UCF, I think they're a lot better than the record says.
Yeah.
I do think this is a good team that has just faced some hardships early on. You're adjusting to a new conference. You're playing these teams you've never played, and you do have to adjust to that. And I think give them 2 or 3 years, they could be a powerhouse in the Big 12.
Yeah.
I think with this Oklahoma team, Brent Venables was, of course, the right choice for Oklahoma to make. And obviously, I think relating back to Clemson, I think that's why we're failing, is with Brent Venables not being here, although it's mainly offensive struggles, but there's that missing piece.
Yeah.
And, of course, he's being successful somewhere else, but great for him.
My case with the Venables thing is the defense looks as good, if not better, under Goodwin now that they looked under Venables. I mean, they've looked fantastic no matter what. It's really we have no offensive game.
Yeah.
And that's more of the issue. And Venables obviously has brought an offense to Oklahoma. They've been able to score after a struggling first season, and he's doing something right down there. I do think I can kind of agree with you that we are missing that piece in Venables because I think he's a guy that the players love. I think Wes is the same way. I think players love Wes, but Venables was a part of this program for so long, and he brought so much fire and so much, determination to this team that we are missing an edge. And I think, is that kind of what you're going?
Yeah, more so that he's that.
Yeah, he's that edge.
The difference maker, really.
Yes.
Because he did not do anything for our offense.
Yeah.
We just happen to have two of the greatest college quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Air Force stays undefeated against Navy. Kind of expected it. It's a slow moving. These teams always have a slow game. It's always the academies. They'll always have a slow game. Army, Navy, Air Force, Army, Air Force, Navy. They're never the most exciting games, but Air Force gets the outcome you expect.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a very strong Air Force team, and I think the reason really that at least I want to talk about is because it's, to see a service academy go 7-0 to open the year and be bowl eligible is really, something you don't really, it's kind of unprecedented. Yeah. And they're, kind of contending with JMU as the best group of 5 team in the country, and because JMU will not be bowl eligible due to the NCAA rules, I'm kind of excited to see where Air Force ends up at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely hope to see them in a New Year's Six game.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun to see them play. Hopefully, kind of like a Tulane story last year where, a lot of people doubt you and then you go and you beat this big Power 5 team. I'd love to see Air Force do something similar. Alabama defeats Tennessee. Another game I expected this to happen, 34-20. It looked like it could have been close for a little bit, but Alabama is back to being Alabama. Mm-hmm. And I do think this is a good Tennessee team, but they have a lot to work on, a lot to improve on. They have Georgia later in the season. That's going to be a rough game for them. So Tennessee needs to start improving now if they want to, beat a team like Georgia and these other big SEC teams.
And then also, you can't just let up 27 unanswered points in it.
No. Being up and they're up, 20-9 or something?
20-7.
Something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they just let Alabama come fly back. I mean,
you can't do that.
You can't let that happen.
Yeah. I think it also just speaks to Nick Saban. I mean, obviously, there's not much more to say about Nick Saban. Everything's said, but, he still finds good ways to win in tough situations, which is always, something you want in a high caliber coach.
Minnesota with a huge win over a good Iowa team, at least a great Iowa defense, and a extremely stagnant Iowa offense. I think their coach has a clause where if they don't score over, it's 25 or something, then they're going to terminate his contract and then renegotiate it.
Yeah.
He better start scoring some points because he's nowhere near that average right now. So there's not much to say about this game, just a slow game. Big Ten football.
Slow Big Ten football. It's kind of frustrating, I feel, at least extremely for Iowa fans, considering how great their defense has been for the past few years. They feel like almost a more extreme version of the Clemson Tigers, where very good championship top 10 caliber defense, but no offense.
None.
To the point where you can have Minnesota score 12 and you lose.
Yeah.
Because nothing's getting done on offense.
Yeah.
It's tough to see.
I really think the key for Iowa is get rid of your offense, take Deion Sanders, Colorado's offense, make them their national championship team possible.
They'll definitely have to get transfers in or something.
Yeah.
Because, or at least recruit better, coach better. I have no clue what the issue is with that offense, but they need to find something and find it now.
It's kind of helpful in the way that everything's the issue. So you can just fix.
Exactly. You can
take it
start
one at a time.
Anywhere.
And there will be a positive.
1-5 Virginia team who its only win was FCS William and Mary beats number 10 UNC, an undefeated team. I love college football for reasons like this because this doesn't happen anywhere else but college football. You don't see these teams that are just not very good beat a team that has hopes at the playoffs. It's just insane. 31-27, and it was a pretty commanding victory. It was close for a bit, but Virginia really looked in the driver's seat most of this game.
Yeah. I mean, you never see in other sports a team of this caliber beat a team of that caliber, and obviously this is a very tough loss for UNC considering how highly ranked and touted they were, and they were an undefeated team. So this was it was a great game, I think, at least, kind of as an outside with no dog in the fight. It was an entertaining game, and it just speaks to Virginia's tenacity to really pull through against a team like that.
I think especially it's going to be one of those games that's remembered because it was a very emotional win for Virginia. Because it's pretty much their biggest game probably since everything that happened last season. And I'm really happy as Tony Elliott coached here. I'm really happy that I see him finally succeed. Even though it's only one game, I'm just happy to see him succeed there.
Yeah.
FSU beats Duke 38-20. Close game for a little bit, but FSU is the team a lot of people think they are. I'm still not 100% sold on them, but I can see why you are, why people are sold on them. I think they're going to hiccup at some point in the season. I'm just used to seeing FSU do it.
Yeah.
But Duke looked fantastic for a little bit, and then it just kind of got away from them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
FSU is more than likely going to be your ACC champion. I don't really see it going down any other way. They could lose.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not impossible that they lose, but I don't think it's very likely.
Yeah.
It's just the case with Duke, as you see Riley Leonard went out. I want to say it was around the third quarter. That's obviously when Florida State
Took off.
pulled away, and it shows that the biggest part for Duke is Riley Leonard is such a good quarterback that he's pretty much elevating the offense to be able to play against a top 4 team. That when you don't have him on the field, it's going to hit him.
Yeah.
And, speaking, we've talked a lot about just backup quarterbacks right now, especially on this episode. But Utah, with their backup quarterback still, defeats USC. Cam Rising will not play the rest of the season, which is a heartbreaker for Utah. But, they beat a USC team that have ended up looking like they might have been fraudulent. This is not the team that a lot of people said they were.
Yeah.
And they have crumbled.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of the USC from the mid 2010s.
Yeah.
This is what you kind of expect to see from this program right now. But it's not something I really wanted to see from the program. I wanted to see them succeed. College football is fun when teams like Southern Cal are good, when teams like Tennessee are good. But
Texas, stuff like that.
yeah, the Texases, when these national powerhouses are good, you like to see them win sometimes. You hate to see them win too. But it's more fun when they are competitive because it makes them compete with these other teams that have been dominant for so much longer, Alabama, Ohio State. You like to see teams like this come back and compete. And it just doesn't look like they're going to compete.
And it's curious because USC still has Washington and both Oregon still left on the schedule. Possibly maybe a 4-loss team here.
Could be.
I can see it.
It's possible.
It'd be worse than 4 loss. I mean, they could slip up against another team. I wouldn't be shocked to lose to a UCLA.
It's entirely within the realm of possibility. And, I mean, I feel like this was kind of coming. I mean, I feel like I've forethought this. I've been talking about it for the past few weeks. I've just been saying there's going to be a game, or in this case, games, where they're going to play a team that's a bit of a higher quality defense, and they're going to get beat. And I think the fact that this is a Utah without their starting quarterback really does speak to how fragile this USC team is.
I'm just curious how good Utah would be if they did have Cam Wilder this season. And I think with these next few games for USC, Caleb Williams just needs to not listen to what some people in the media are saying about him stopping the season, like leaving the season out, sitting out. He just needs to play good, and I think it'll help his draft stock go up. Not that it's going down, but
He's the number 1 pick. It's already set in stone. He's not going anywhere else. But if they had Cam Wilder playing, I think it'd be really different for them because he plays basketball and Cam Rising plays football, so that would
messed up the name.
mess with you. But but I feel like this with Cam Rising playing quarterback would be really deadly for this Utah team. They'd be very scary in the Pac-12, but it's hard to be as scared, especially they have a loss already.
Yeah.
But we'll see where it goes. And we're talking about Pac-12, but Washington did not look fantastic against Arizona State. Not the Washington we've been used to. Yeah. They still pull it out though, and teams have these. It's just a game that you get trapped in and you trip up.
Yeah.
And they tripped up a lot, but they won, and they're still moving. I still think Michael Penix is the best quarterback in college football right now.
Yeah.
Just kind of an uncharacteristic game, but I do agree.
Yeah.
I think this is just a day where everything went wrong with them, and the fact that everything went wrong and they could still pull out a win is really what speaks to their quality. And I think this could be I hope to see them in the playoff just because I feel like Penix is such a very fun quarterback to watch.
And they have a good defense.
Yeah.
Their defense is actually very solid. So, NFL Week 7, there was a lot.
There's a lot.
A lot of up and down, a lot of emotion this week. Speaking of a down, Giants beat the Commanders in one of the slowest NFL games I've ever watched, 14-7. They started out 14-0 and then just stopped scoring. And then the Commanders, they got their 7, and they weren't completely stagnant. They were moving the ball, but they just couldn't finish drives. Neither team could finish a drive. And Tyrod Taylor is now the first black quarterback in New York Giants history to have a win for that football team.
Also, that first touchdown they scored is the first touchdown they scored in a month.
Yeah, it's
So
just
in one game, Tyrod Taylor already tied with Daniel Jones for touchdowns thrown.
Tyrod Taylor has proven that he can still be a quarterback in this league. And I've been saying it since he got stabbed by that doctor on the Chargers that he was legit on that team.
Yeah.
And I think he's a really good quarterback. But I saw that somewhere that, it was the first black quarterback to lead them to a win. I thought that was super interesting. Not 100%. I think it's true. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take it as truth.
I can't think of no other black quarterback.
No, me neither. But I'm going to take it as truth. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
It might be true.
But I just think that's just really cool to see.
Yeah.
And Tyrod being the guy to do it, I really like because
interesting.
I really like Tyrod Taylor. I think he's a great quarterback.
It's kind of a crazy fact when you consider how long the Giants have been around compared to other football teams.
Right.
Not one game. Are we sure? Have we checked all the record books?
Well, they haven't won. They're just not winning them.
Yeah, I guess so. But I
They
mean,
have the quarterback. They're just not winning the game.
yeah,
Ravens defeat the Lions 38-6. Kind of proved the Lions are not as good as I thought they were. Mm-hmm. Or it could just be a down game. I'm hoping it's that. And the Ravens are a lot better than I thought they were. Or it could be an up game. I have no clue because NFL football is weird. And weekly, it's just like some teams look great and some teams look horrible. And then next week, the other team looks great, the other one looks horrible. It's just hard to tell now. I do think these are both very competitive teams, so that will compete in the playoffs, and they both could make it far. But I just think maybe it was a down game for the Lions. But I do think the Ravens are legit. I do think the Lions are legit. So
I think this game for me just showed how good the Ravens really can be. I feel like if they give Lamar Jackson the opportunity to succeed, he will go crazy and play phenomenally, which is what he did in this game.
Yeah.
So I feel I like the Ravens as a team. I like Lamar as a quarterback, and I kind of like seeing these kind of wins. I like seeing them play at the caliber I know they can play at, not what they have been playing at.
Yeah. Falcons beat Buccaneers 16-13. They're the best team in the NFC South, and I feel like it's kind of hard to argue that right now.
Yeah. No.
Even without, they have the weapons. They have a much better defense than they've had in recent years. They're winning games with Desmond Ridder. He fumbled twice, but a win is a win, and you move on from it. I think that the Falcons could end up running through the NFC South and making the playoffs. I think that would be an interesting way for it to go because most people had them finishing last in the South this year. Mm-hmm. So I think it would be really cool to see Falcons pull something off.
And I believe that as of right now, they're the fourth seed in the NFC.
Yes, they're fourth seed in the NFC due to them being.
As long as they keep that up, they should be back in the playoffs.
Yeah. Due to them being the best team in the NFC South, they do get that fourth seed.
Yep.
And maybe they can keep moving up depending on how these other divisions look. Speaking of, other divisions in the NFC, the Packers lose to the Broncos 19-17. The Broncos have been one of the most disappointing teams in football, and Jordan Love has not played good since his first, 4-6 games.
The only games he played really good in was the Bears game and then second half of the Saints game. He played okay in the Falcons game, but this game he played well until that interception. I'll give him that. Until that interception, he was playing very well. It was a double coverage prayer. I didn't think that he should have threw that, but like I said, at a loss for words. I'll see y'all next season.
I would like to see Jordan Love be a good quarterback. He started the season, I believe it was 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, and now he's gone. It's either 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions now or something.
And also, I will say,
ridiculous.
I'm not trying to make this sound like an excuse, but we're the youngest team in the NFL. Mistakes like this gonna happen.
Yeah, the Packers will definitely grow. I think they're going to grow together, and that's really going to help them because it is a super young team. The Eagles beat the Dolphins 31-17, and I mean, just what an interesting game this was. There's no other way to put it. A lot of people complaining about the refs. I watched some of the plays, and I can see how a lot of them are a little shaky. Mm-hmm. But you know, you can't blame the refs for everything.
Yeah,
You still got to outplay the team. Dolphins got outplayed by the Eagles.
And also the Eagles defense. This is the best game the Eagles defense had all year. They shut down when they needed to.
And the tush push is unstoppable.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't stop.
Yeah, I'll say the Eagles, they are the best team in the NFC right now.
They're the best team in football right now. There's a lot going well for them. They just signed Julio Jones, who, if he's more than likely not going to return to that prime Julio Jones level, but he can come and make a difference and get you, 3 receptions a game for 40 yards.
And when it matters too.
Yep. He'll make the big plays for you. So getting a veteran like that is definitely good for this offense.
And also A.J. Brown been having at least 100
Going crazy.
yards at least every week this season.
And then the Vikings beat the Niners 22-17. The Vikings are a good football team, man. There's no other way to put it, really. The Vikings are a good football team.
Yeah.
They struggled early.
Yeah.
And ever since they beat the Panthers, they've looked a lot better. They beat the Bears last week, and now they're beating the Niners. They're continuing to move up. Kirk Cousins looks fantastic.
Yeah.
He still, to me, is top 10 quarterback. One of my favorite quarterbacks to watch, just because he seems so humble and he loves the game, and he's just a good quarterback who has just played super well through a lot of adversity in his career.
Yeah.
And I like to see him succeed.
Yeah.
And then the Niners, they collapsed, really. They
already had 2 fourth-quarter interceptions.
Yeah.
You
can't have that. Especially when you're trying to win the game.
And it's like this season, it's now, I've seen people on Twitter say it's like 49ers defense are frauds and the offense is frauds. We might be. I don't think so. I think on the offense is a little bit of a struggle.
You have rest games. That's all.
Debo Samuel's out. I think still only a 2-loss team, better than some that haven't won a single game. Not going to mention teams or anything. But I think just grow from it.
Only one team that hasn't won a single game.
Did I say teams plural? My bad.
Yeah.
Like you want to have like a rush stretch early in the season rather than like later on in the season because you want to have that momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah. And I think at least personally, the Panthers have really embodied that really rough stretch to open it out. So
yeah, I know you wanted to mention something about the Panthers.
Title charge starts now.
Title charge starts this coming Sunday. I don't foresee us losing another game this season.
I see you had typed on the document that the bye week defeated the Panthers 24-13. I'm not sure how exactly that happens to a team, but
I feel like if the bye week could play, they probably would beat the Panthers too.
It'd be a close game.
All right, let's move to the Premier League. Brentford dominates Burnley. I really hate saying it, but Burnley relegated. It's looking more and more likely for this team. Brentford is they're nearing the middle of the table right now. Not quite there, but Burnley's the 18th team on the table, and currently they're in relegation.
As a fan, I knew this going in. This is going to be a tough relegation battle. I mean, this is a team that was top of the championship, but the caliber of championship teams and your average Premier League team are very different. I'm a little bit surprised considering how bad this result was, but I feel like it's a long season, and I feel like this team could really pull out some games and finish just above that relegation zone. Chris, I know you agree that we're one of, if not the best rosters in the Premier League.
Yeah, a lot of world-class players on the team, huh?
Speaking of great rosters, Chris, I'll let you talk about the Liverpool game.
I didn't get to catch the game because I'm not waking up at 7:30 for that. But big rivalry game against Everton, right across the street. We beat them. I mean, I expected us to. It's Everton. I mean, when the last time they've been good?
Yeah, that's true.
Salah had 2 goals, so that was a nice week for us.
Nice week.
On a Thursday.
When's the last time they've been good is a crazy statement to make. All right,
Good
Riley, I'll let you talk about Brighton with another loss.
So, Brighton, another loss. Great way to sum up how the season's been going so far. You look at our last 5 games, and it's just D and L's. But it's Man City. I expected a loss. I mean, they're arguably the best team in the world right now, even though they have a little slip-ups. Brighton, I like what the manager/coach is doing, but some people that are like 30-year-old players should not be center backs when they're midfielders. But anyway, it's just a tough loss. I think we'll build back our next coming games. So I believe we have Everton. Since you said they've really never been good,
They haven't been good in years.
It's going to be
Yeah, we can
absurd
say
win.
that, and then
gonna be
Brian's
absurd,
going to
right?
lose
I hope y'all-
6-1. So
Tough loss, obviously,
And-
but good team.
You mentioned their last 5. It's like Clemson's best position group. The way there's so many DNLs on there. I mean, it's like
yeah.
it's just all over there.
Yeah.
Arsenal went down early to Chelsea, and then it's a team that they face adversity head on, and they go in and they tie with a world-class team like Chelsea. Great club, just 2 great clubs going back and forth in a game that Arsenal should have won by 3. So
It's a tough, obviously a lot of these Arsenal players are looking at this future Real Madrid. They were, grew up wanting to play for them, knew that they probably weren't that caliber of player, and still persevered to get this
the Gunners.
banter club. Oh, sorry,
Possible.
the Gunners. A solid performance, a good performance considering the circumstances, and
Yeah, Arsenal, 3rd team on the table, the banter club, as you say.
And it's tough for
15
them.
spots ahead of your Burnley Burners, or whatever you like to call yourself. But
It's tough for the Gunners right now. Saka is, I don't know if he's playing.
He's playing through injury,
so
and
of course
it's-
that's going to affect.
Yeah.
And I feel like this says more about this Chelsea team. As you go up 2-0, and in the 70th minute, that's when you start letting up goals. Like, you had it in the bag.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce the last name right, but Mudryk looked amazing with his first goal. That was an amazing goal. I feel like this is a game Chelsea should have won, and they didn't. But, as Luke said, Arsenal is 3rd on the table. I would say Arsenal is a world-class team. So
You know what?
it's expected for them to be there.
You know what? I would say credit to Arsenal. That was a good comeback. But at the end, I'm nothing against y'all. We're not rivals. So,
Yeah.
but I don't like Chelsea. Y'all know that. I don't like them. But they've been having a lot of momentum lately.
They have.
They starting to get themselves together like the team that they were supposed to be. But
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
And you see they're finally broken top
Yeah.
10 on the table.
Yeah.
Last season I think they finished somewhere in like the
12.
14th, 15th.
yeah, just lower table.
It was
not-
part of the more so lower table. So I'm kind of glad to see him in the top table,
yeah.
top area of the table.
All right, we can jump over to the MLB playoffs real quick. I can run this down for y'all if you'd like me to. The Rangers advance over the Astros 4-3 on the series. This is a huge turnaround for this Rangers team that has not been very good in the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adolis Garcia, man, was a guy
Yeah,
that
I saw
nobody
that
wanted.
Grand Slam. I was
Nobody
watching
wanted this guy about 3 years ago. No one was picking him up off of assignments, nothing. And he came in his rookie year into the majors, was, I believe, 4th in Rookie of the Year. He had, I want to say, around 20 home runs. I could be wrong. And he made the All-Star team in his rookie season.
Wow.
Since then, he's been super, super impressive. And he's a guy that I love seeing succeed. Because you can tell he loves the game. He loves everything about the team he's on. And, people were mad, talking about how he pimped it against them game 6, and then the Astros come back. But, man, this guy's hitting home runs, grand slams. He's the MVP of the ALCS.
Yeah.
He deserves all of the love he's getting right now and the support. And the Phillies and Diamondbacks are tied 3-3 with the final game tonight. This is another interesting one to me because the Diamondbacks haven't been fantastic these past couple of years either.
Yeah.
And I really like seeing them turn it around. I would love to see the Diamondbacks and Rangers because it's something new. The Phillies made it last year. The Astros make it all the time. It's the first time in like 6-7 years that both the Astros and Dodgers have missed a World Series. So I would just love to see Diamondbacks Rangers. I think that's a fun matchup where it's really hard to hate either team because these are 2 teams that it feels like underdog stories coming into it.
And it also felt like one of those like World Series that you would see like when you see them through on
Yeah,
shows.
like
It's just not something you would see.
nothing that happens in real
It's a
life.
video game
Yeah,
World
it's just
Series.
fake.
Yeah, at least come from
Numbers.
a fan who's not super into MLB and then only really like starts watching the playoffs. Diamondbacks and Rangers are teams that I've never like heard of as I've gotten into MLB. So they're just I've heard of them, but like not heard of them.
You haven't really seen much
at
of
that
At that big
scale.
level.
Yeah, at that level. So
And now you're kind of
it's interesting to
seeing
see.
more
Yeah.
of the players and the teams and the personalities.
Yeah, it's nice to see this. Something new. NBA opening night, we have Lakers and Denver. I think that the Lakers are coming into this game and they want this win. They have been talking about it all offseason. They want this one, and they're coming in to win this game, and Denver's going to beat them by 20.
Yeah,
We'll
Denver-
see that first in Lakers at Denver. Denver is not losing to the Lakers first game after everything Malone said. I have faith in this Denver team to not let that happen to
And
them.
then with the Lakers, it's always hype with them before the season starts. Oh, the Lakers gonna be back.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. Just yap. But
Just yap.
I'm going to look really dumb next week when the Lakers beat Denver by 20, but I'm taking
they
it
don't.
Denver by 20,
but I got Denver.
betting it.
Betting it now.
We'll see it tomorrow when the episode comes up, and people are going to be like, "Oh, this guy's an idiot," and I'll be like, "Yep, my bad." And then Suns at Warriors, two just super strong teams.
Yeah.
And this is when I'm actually going back and forth on who I think is going to win. I just don't think Chris Paul with this Warriors team really fits to me. It's a really interesting look, and he's playing his old team though, as well as Kevin Durant playing his old team with the Warriors.
I'll say also Bradley Beal not playing tonight either.
All right, with Bradley Beal not playing, I'm taking the Warriors tonight. I did not realize that.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see how Chris Paul looks in the lineup.
I do think it'll be
Something to say.
I know it's just preseason, but from what I was seeing, though, he looked like he fit pretty well with the system.
He does look like he understands the system already, and he knows how to play it. And I do want Chris Paul to succeed. I'd love to see him get a ring.
I don't.
But I can't. I don't know about the Warriors. But every season recently, I don't know about the Warriors, and they make the playoffs, and they look fantastic. So I expect the Warriors to be good this season, though.
Yeah.
They're always good.
Yeah.
And as long as no one gets injured, this is a playoff team. And they'll be a top 3 team in the West.
Yeah. No, I mean, me personally, I'm not a huge basketball fan, and I want to get more into it. So I'm excited to watch some of these opening games. And I think the one that excites me the most is Lakers Nuggets. Mainly, one, because of the playoff series last year. It was a very crushing loss for the Lakers. And two, because I honestly, genuinely believe that this affects LeBron's legacy. Because if people in 30 years look back and see that he's getting dominated by this international big man whose one goal in life is to raise the best horses, then it's going to come into question his playing ability. So I'm hoping for a Lakers win for my GOAT, LeBron James.
But you also leave out the fact that the international big man who loves horse racing is the best player in the NBA right now, or a top 3 player at least. And all top 3 players in the NBA right now are international players.
Yeah.
So you can argue that all you want, and you'd be arguing with the wall if it's with me, because Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid are your top 3 guys right now. They're the guys who are running for MVP, and Doncic is up there. And there's obviously American guys there too. It's not discrediting the American players.
Tatum.
Yeah, I mean, Tatum, LeBron's still up there, AD, you have all these guys, keep up.
Yeah.
But those are your 3 premier guys, and no one really talks about them because it feels like they don't market Jokic because he never talks about basketball.
Yeah.
They do market Giannis because he's one of the most fun personalities in the league, as well as Embiid. They're 2 just really fun personalities that you can market. But it feels like it's so quiet with Jokic that so many non-NBA fans know who he is.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be some people who watch this and be like, who is this guy? But Nikola Jokic is, to me, the best player in the league. He has everything you want in a guy. So, and let's look at predictions for the season. Who do you have winning, championship? Let's go, we'll say championship, MVP, and like dark horse to make the playoffs for both sides of the ball.
Championship? I honestly, actually no, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna lie. I think the Hornets are gonna win the championship.
Honestly, who do you think wins the championship?
Honestly, who do I think wins the championship? I don't know. I feel like I'm under-equipped, but I'm just going to throw it out there and say the Los Angeles Lakers.
All right.
MVP LeBron James.
And who do you have as dark horses, East and West?
East, the Hornets.
I figured.
West, the Pistons.
They're in the East as well.
Oh. Is the Spurs in the West?
Yes.
The Spurs.
All right.
I think the Spurs make it.
Riley?
So honestly, I probably have the Nuggets winning again. I like their roster. In terms of MVP, I kind of want to see Giannis as MVP, but I'm not. I think it'll be interesting with Dame being there this year. And then, so dark horses. For the East, give me the Wizards with Jordan Poole, greatest NBA basketball player of all time, and Kyle Kuzma. And then for the West, let's throw the Spurs in there too. I'm curious to see how Wemby does.
I'll go championship the Celtics. I obviously, as a fan, it's easy for me to say that, but I do think they're the best roster right now, especially with the additions of Porzingis and Drew Holiday, who are 2 of the better players in the positions right now. MVP, I think it's time for someone to make a leap. I'll take Luka, but I think Tatum ends up close with him. I think Luka will take it. And, people have been saying for the past however many years that Luka's going to take it, but I really do think this is the team he could do it with. They could struggle, though. I have really no clue what the Mavs are going to do this year because they're either going to be really good or not very good.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, thing with Tatum though, if he want to win MVP, he can't have one game where he can look like a top 5 player.
Yeah.
And, like,
He can't go from top 5 to role player,
like,
switch every game like he has.
get him off the court. Like,
Yeah.
you can't.
And dark horses, I'll take maybe not dark horses to make the playoffs, but maybe dark horses just run the table. For the West, I'll go with Minnesota. I think the Timberwolves have been really well built.
They're doing pretty good.
Yeah, but it is hard with the 2 big man lineup they have with Cat at the 4 and Gobert at the 5. I'm not positive how that's going to work because it didn't really work last season. But I think Anthony Edwards will also take a huge leap. And in the East, I'm going to take the Pacers. Because I think Tyrese Halliburton is one of the most exciting young guys in the league. And then Lauri Markkanen is another guy who's super exciting. I think the Bulls also have a chance to make a move.
So for the championship, I think the Nuggets gonna run it back. And MVP, I think Jokic, or maybe a dark horse for it could be maybe even like Devin Booker or something. He could probably have I can see him. I think he's the best shooting guard in the league. So.
Yeah, the only thing with Booker is it's hard to win MVP with a guy like KD.
With KD and
but I do
Brandon
agree
on the
that
team,
even without KD, he was an MVP guy.
Yeah. And then for the East, for my dark horse, I guess I'll say either the Pacers or I don't want to say the Pistons, but Pistons got a nice young roster. I think they can make a play-in spot.
Yeah, and they have Cade coming back.
Yeah.
And I think Cade.
And a new coach, new coach and all.
Everything's new over there. It feels like.
Yeah. And then for the West, I'm gonna go OKC.
I do like the OKC pick because I also think Shea's a guy who's dark horse for MVP.
And then Chet coming back. Chet could possibly be rookie of the year.
Yeah, Chet and Shea together are going to be super scary for a lot of teams. And Josh Giddey, who's a dog.
And Jay Will.
Both Jay Wills.
Yeah.
There's just a team of really good young guys, and they have about 47 picks in the next 5 drafts, it feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm over-exaggerating, but they have a ton of picks. Let's move on to overtime. Chris, you start us off.
Oh, yeah. So, big UFC card this weekend. Islam defended his belt as we thought he would. Volk took the fight on 11 days' notice. All credit to him, but he got head kicked to heaven pretty much. So not much to say about that. All credit to Islam. And Hamzat beat Usman in a pretty close 3-rounder. It was a really good fight. Usman, he put up a good fight, but it just wasn't enough at the end. It was a great performance.
Yeah. It's hard to see Usman. He has not, won a lot recently.
But when you look at who he lost,
he's also fought like 3 of the top guys.
Like when you look at who he lost to, it's like,
it makes sense. He has fought 3 of the top guys in the entire sport, pound for pound. So, who's next? Riley, you're next.
And so, Champions League and Europa League start this week. I think we're approaching around the halfway point of the group stages. So, at least for Champions League, not important part, but the most interesting group is what's called the Group of Death, which is Dortmund, Newcastle, PSG, and AC Milan. And by far, those games are the most interesting in the Champions League. And then we get into Europa League, where both me and Chris's teams are playing. Chris, I'd say arguably his group is
the weakest. We got a weak group.
Is a weak group.
Hey,
so,
I'm grateful. I'm not complaining.
Liverpool's making the next round. Brighton, on the other hand, it's one of 2 things. It's either our group is really bad, it's really good, or we are really bad, because we're currently sitting at the bottom of our group table.
It could be both, and then also y'all dealing with injuries.
Ajax is about to be relegated, and they're sitting ahead of us.
Oh yeah, y'all might be bad.
Yeah, we might just be bad at the Europe stage, but we'll see how we play. We'll see how we play Thursday. Get some more points.
Yeah.
All right, Nash.
Right. In a huge get for Clemson men's basketball, Brad Burnell, the master of recruiting, has landed 4-star guard Dell Jones. And this is just a great get for the program. I feel like Clemson isn't really known as a big basketball school, so to get top talent like this is always welcome and appreciated. And I'm excited to see how our team plays, not only this season, but the coming seasons in Death Valley, too.
Yeah, we not known as a basketball school, but hey, the next couple of years we about to.
Yeah, this could be the year.
Growing into one, especially with all the transfers coming in.
Brad is showing he's good at recruiting and transfer portal. So.
Brad's also good at developing guys.
Yeah.
He developed Hunter Tyson. He's about to develop P.J. Hall into the league. I think Joe Girard could make it. I can see a lot of the guys on the team right now making the league. So I think this is a huge get, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk the WNBA Finals. The Aces beat the Liberty 3-1. I really wanted the Liberty to win just because there was a stat that made me want them to win, but I can't remember exactly what it was now. But Candace Parker now has a lot of championships, ton of them.
3 championships with
3
3
of
different
them.
teams.
Go.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the greatest women's basketball player of all time. Although she did not play much.
Yeah, she didn't play here.
However, she's injured. She was facing an injury, so that explains it. They won the final game 70-69 in Game 4. And I was watching kind of the end of that game. And it felt like the Liberty weren't drawing up plays to win.
Yeah.
That last shot, I'm going to just say, that last shot was
great.
atrocious.
It was super disappointing to see them go out like that because I really did think they had it for a little bit.
I'm sorry if I'm getting her name wrong. Breonna Stewart was just not.
But I do want to congratulate the Las Vegas Aces because they really did deserve it. They were the best team in all of the WNBA. Even regular season, they were, one of the best teams. And Kelsey Plum, she was fantastic. I just kept seeing coverage of her. Aja Wilson, who is a South Carolina Gamecock. Yeah. She is probably the best player right now in the WNBA. But it was just overall a super fun series to watch.
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was pretty competitive.
I watched the last few minutes too. I was entertained.
It was definitely a competitive series and it felt fun.
Yeah.
So I think that's all we got though. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week.